Good morning. You are listening to UpReach, a morning devotional presented by the Church Street Church of Christ in Lewisburg, Tennessee, to encourage you as you face the opportunities and challenges of today. O Lord, you induced me, and I was persuaded. You are stronger than I, and have prevailed. I am in derision daily. Everyone mocks me. For when I spoke, I cried out. I shouted, violence and plunder. Because the word of the Lord was made to me a reproach and a derision daily. Then I said, I will not make mention of him, nor speak any more in his name. But his word was in my heart like a burning fire, shut up in my bones. I was weary of holding it back, and I could not. Jeremiah chapter 20, verses 7 through 9. One day recently, a minister was saying that his niece was giving him advice on how to preach. And her advice was, if you cannot put fire into your sermon, then put your sermon in the fire. A better epigram and better advice would be hard to find. Consider the qualities of fire. First, fire can warm a person. On the great day in Aldersgate which changed John Wesley's life, Wesley said, I felt my heart strangely warmed. A great German critic said of the first letter of Peter that its outstanding characteristic is warmth. There can be no great preaching without warmth, nor can there be any real teaching without warmth. Warmth does not mean that one will rant and shout and gesticulate and generally throw himself about. There can be a quietness and a stillness which have in them a white-hot intensity which no one can mistake. Second, fire can melt the hardest metal. Carrie Evans, in his book My Spiritual Pilgrimage, remembers a great evangelist who calls the atmosphere which is created by the Holy Spirit a melting atmosphere, producing what our fathers used to describe as a tender frame of mind. It was said of a certain person, she was like a well-laid fire to whom no one had ever put a match. All the equipment of life was there, except warmth, and therefore, although in a sense everything was there, in another sense everything was lacking. Finally, fire fuses things together. Usually an alloy will be made out of two metals by heat. There is a lesson here. If ever there is to be union among us, that union must come not so much from cold logic as from the warmth of the loving heart. When our hearts reach out to each other in love, we will get further than any arguments can. It is only the warmth of love that can fuse two personalities or even two churches together. What about you today? Do you have a fire burning deep within your soul, longing to draw closer to God and to come to know Him more intimately? Be careful not to quench that fire. Why not give God your heart today? This has been UpReach, a presentation of the Church Street Church of Christ in Lewisburg, Tennessee. I am Kyle Bolton, the pulpit minister at Church Street, and I would like to personally invite you to come and share times of Bible study and worship with us each week. We meet every Sunday at 9 o'clock a.m. for our morning worship, followed by our Sunday school for all ages at 10:15 a.m. Then we meet again at 6 o'clock p.m. for our evening worship. We also have a midweek meeting for devotion and Bible study on Wednesdays at 6:30 p.m. As we experience this holiday season, it is my prayer that you and your family will be safe as you travel, that God will bless you with some wonderful times of fellowship with family and friends, and that God will use you in a personal way to bless the life of another. Then, as this holiday season concludes and life gets back into a familiar routine, please remember that every day is about Jesus. If we at the Church Street Church of Christ can help lead you to know more about Him, not just about His miraculous birth, but also about His life, His teachings, His ministry with people, His cruel death, His burial, His amazing resurrection, and His promise to one day come again to reward those who are faithful to Him each day, please call on any of us at the Church Street Church of Christ at 359-3597. You may also check out our website for more information and contact details at www.churchst.org. We are willing to help you in your walk with God at any time, day or night, for there is no other relationship as vital as this one, because this is the only relationship you will ever have that has eternal consequences.